This solves all the problems for the Phoenix Suns. As we know with Matt Ishbia, this team did not live up to his expectations or the fans' expectations of this team. And with the implications of Kevin Durant potentially being moved, Devin Booker and his long-term extension, the Phoenix Suns need the right guy to take the helm and to really own up to being that head of basketball operations. And with a new report from Mark Stein, that guy could be someone that we're all very familiar with. So we're going to be diving in and looking at his latest report revolving around the Phoenix Suns on if this would be a smart move and how it would affect this team for the future. We're going to be diving into all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Velez. But before we dive into all of that, before we get into all of this news, right around 64% of you guys who watch these videos are not subscribed. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything that we're posting here on Suns Digest with all the drama, all this news kind of coming into effect with this Phoenix Suns team as the off season is officially underway for this team, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you stay up to date with everything. Without further ado, let's dive in and let's get into the topics at hand. Make sure to grab that snack, ladies and gentlemen. This is interesting. Like I said, there's a new report linking someone to the Phoenix Suns, and Ben graciously did some videos over the last couple of days talking about James Jones and Mike Budenholzer and the uncertainty of this Phoenix Suns team. And there still is some uncertainty revolving around this Phoenix Suns team, right? There's obviously the Devin Booker contract extension that might be looming in the near future, the Kevin Durant fiasco and what the Phoenix Suns do with him, and ultimately the quality question of asking how the Phoenix Suns can kind of get out of this rut. And the Phoenix Suns are looking and turning their eyes to one specific man, and that man is Bob Myers. And as we see from this latest report, courtesy of Mark Stein, who has some inside sources around the NBA doing some coverage from the Dallas Mavericks, we saw in his latest report that the Phoenix Suns have shown that interest in former Golden State Warriors executive Bob Myers, according to the Stein line, are in his latest newsletter. And from PHX fans, we did a little bit of a deep dive. If you read the article, you could see that the Hawks and the Suns, as the Hawks just fired Landry Fields, are apparently targeting Bob Myers for their front office. Question is, if you're Bob, what good reason would you have to take the Phoenix job? They obviously have a meddling owner, no draft capital, and a limited roster talent. But the one thing the Phoenix Suns do have is a little bit of a direction, right? It might be a little bit unclear, but this team truly can prove that when they have the right pieces in order, they can win. We saw that in 2021. Yes, they've made some backpedaling trades that maybe limited their opportunities post since their finals run, but I truly do believe you put the right tools around the right pieces around Devin Booker and this Phoenix Suns team. If Kevin Durant's here, if Kevin Durant's not here, that this team can compete and it can win in this Western Conference. Maybe not a championship, but it can be a producing level team. And that's the type of atmosphere you want to bring for the fans, right? That's what we were expecting this season, and we were let go of when obviously the injuries started to come into play, and we saw this disastrous season start to unfold around the trade deadline. But ultimately, with this Phoenix Suns team, we know they can be better, and Bob Myers could be that guy to ultimately take this team over the top. Like we've noticed with the Golden State Warriors, where Bob Myers, previously was the head of basketball operations. We all know. Drafted Draymond, hired Steve Kerr as a head coach, won his first championship, 73-9, lost in the finals, signed KD. Second championship, third championship, lost in the finals, and then won a fourth championship, beating the Boston Celtics in 2021 and 2022. Bob Myers obviously stepped down from that position, saying it was time to leave, and went on to ESPN and has been doing that for his job being a reporter and talking about the NBA. But I do believe that if Bob Myers were to be someone to be questioned for this front office, he could seriously change things for Phoenix. And once again, this has massive implications for the future of this Phoenix Suns team, as every question mark around this team is on the open. As we all know, with this Phoenix Suns roster, as we've kind of reported and as we've looked at, they obviously have a second apron problem. They need to drop below that. And by waiving Vasily Micic, who is going to be going to the EuroLeague basketball, and Cody Martin, they should be able to drop below that. But the team will still have some issues being a first apron squad with only 7 players under roster. Key changes will be coming. We've already seen that with Mike Budenholzer. It's already been alluded with James Jones, as he obviously, his contract is coming up. Will he stay in the front office? Will he remain as GM? That question still remains unanswered at this moment. But Matt Ishbia and this as the owner made one thing necessary in that press conference following this season, and that this Suns team is going to take time. They're going to take time to find this head coach. They're going to take time to find the right direction, and they're going to make sure that they get all of this correct. But the final thing I want to touch on this is from Espo, as we all know, from PHNX as well, where he said this report from Stein obviously still has some stepping stones to kind of get unraveled here, as there's some multiple extra external factors obviously playing in with this whole situation revolving around Bob Myers coming here. Obviously, him and Matt Ishbia have a great relationship. Ishbia would love to have Bob Myers, someone who's done fantastic job running the Golden State Warriors, to come over into Phoenix and kind of change that light around here. He feels that obviously by bringing in a guy in Bob Myers, Matt Ishbia, that it can help out defensively and can bring out some rugged players maybe that this front office didn't really evaluate in the past. And that's something that I would like to see the Phoenix Suns invest in. It's something that we've talked about, but ultimately I think this could be the best for the Phoenix Suns for their future. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on what your guys' thoughts are revolving around this. But next, we're going to be getting into what does this mean for the future of the Phoenix Suns? Because like I mentioned, there are a lot of obstacles with getting Bob Myers. But not only just that, what Bob Myers, even if he was hired, is going to do with this Phoenix Suns team. Is like I mentioned, there are multiple questions revolving around this Phoenix Suns team. And you've seen, obviously, this graphic from Bobby Marks revolving around the offseason roster, but I've yet to bring this one up, talking about the Phoenix Suns outlook and what to really watch for with this team. And obviously, by bringing in Bob Myers, these are things that are going to have to be getting done also underneath him. One, obviously finding the next head coach. We've seen the coaching carousel continue for 4 seasons straight with Monty Williams, Frank Vogel, Mike Budenholzer are now the new head coach coming in this year. But like Matt Ishbia stated, they need to get this right head coaching hire correct this time. They cannot be going through this coaching carousel season after season. They need to find the right coach that's going to instill a culture and bring an identity to this Phoenix Suns team. And that's something that obviously Bob Myers would have a hand in doing if he were part of the basketball operations. Secondly, obviously keeping Kevin Durant and improving this roster. Obviously, Ben broke down the report from Chris Haynes yesterday, which if they are able to bring in a competent coach, they might be able to keep Kevin Durant and extend an extension with a great player in him and building around him and Devin Booker. So if that's the case, obviously trying to keep him, maintain the relationship with Kevin Durant, and getting him to extend, obviously would be on Bob Myers trying to secure the competitiveness of this roster for now, but also for the future. We also know Bradley Beal. He still has his contract on the books. Would he look to trade Bradley Beal? Would he stretch and waive him like everybody's alluding to that's going to happen this season? Because John Gambadaro said that he is not coming back on this roster, but that's something to keep in mind. Also, the Devin Booker extension. That's another thing that obviously is a key thing to look at with this Phoenix Suns team, as he is obviously under contract for the next 3 seasons, but this extension would be for the final 2. But if the Suns, do look to retool or to rebuild, unfortunately, in those couple seasons, they would still have that flexible contract of Devin Booker to trade off of. Obviously, this Phoenix Suns team has a lot of questions, and Bob Myers, will he be able to solve all of them? I don't necessarily know, but he has a great track record, and he's shown with the Golden State Warriors that he can come in, he can take control, and he can really put the team in the right direction. And the Phoenix Suns might need that jump start. They might need that little wake-up call here in this offseason from a guy like Bob Myers, who has that experience to really take over, take command, and do the job the right way. Get this team back to the pedigree that it was in 2021, making that finals run, and hopefully with a solid roster retooled around Devin Booker, the franchise player. But that's the latest update revolving around Bob Myers. As you all know, when more stuff comes out about Bob Myers, if he gets hired, if someone else gets hired, if anything happens revolving around this Phoenix Suns team, this is the place for you. So make sure to hit that like, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Unfortunately, no stream this week. Yes, I know I didn't do one last week. I know I didn't do one this week. My family is away. I'm trying to help take care of that, so I will be busy tomorrow. But on next week, I will be live right back with these live streams for you guys weekly, and I promise that. So I'll catch you guys once again in the next video. Thank you guys so much for showing your love. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section and hit that subscribe button. I'm Bruce Velez. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.